Hi, and welcome to this Weekday Word. The New Testament passage appointed in the daily office today comes from Paul's first letter to the Christians in Corinth in the 12th chapter, where he's talking about spiritual gifts. And he says that he does not want them to be uninformed about spiritual gifts, and goes on to say, to each one is given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good. One of the questions I think a lot of Christians ask is, what are these spiritual gifts and how are we supposed to be using them? And one of the prevailing thoughts is that we are all born or given certain spiritual gifts that we must discover as we look through our lives to see where God has given us this spiritual gift. And then we go ahead and use that. And those are the areas where we think God obviously wants us to serve and not in other ones where we aren't gifted. This has been a common thought through the 1900s and now in the 2000s. But Dr. Kenneth Birding argues that we've got it backwards. That spiritual gifts are not gifts that God leaves latent in us for us to discover and then use, but instead, these giftings are God's equipment to do the work He's given us to do. In other words, we don't look in our lives to try to discover that spiritual gift and then apply it, but instead we ask God, where do you want me to serve? And then we trust that when we are obedient to serve in that place, He will give us the gifting and the equipment that we then need. Birding's argument has a lot of merit to it and a lot of scriptural backing. He points out very clearly that the word gift itself really has two primary meanings in the modern world. One is a present, and the other is an ability. And that dominant thought is that it's all about abilities, but what he shows is that in the ancient world it was primarily a gift, which means that our spiritual gifts probably aren't latent skills that we have to discover and then use, and then we stay in our spiritual gifting lane. No, we ask God, what is it that you want me to do? And then equip me to do that work. To each one is given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good. Not that latent gift, but the promise that when we are obedient to do the work that needs to be done, God will give us what we need by the Spirit, manifesting the Spirit in that equipment for the common good to build up the church. So, friends, where is the church in need of your service? And then in those places, which place is God calling you to help in? Because His promise is that to each one, the manifestation of the Spirit is given for the common good. Be blessed this day, and I look forward to seeing you soon.